Hi, everyone. Uh, Today we are going to be doing the Office 360 or Microsoft 365 Pulse Roadmap. Um, and you're only going to have Tom and Tamara this time. Jennifer's on vacation and we're not sure where Adam is. But we decided to go ahead and take a shot at it for just the two of us. As usual, we will start in the in development category, which means Microsoft is working on things. Then we will go ahead and go with the rolling out, which means it's on its way out to the different tenants based on what kind of tent you have and things like that. And then we'll finish up with launched that will say, okay, these are things you should have in your tenant by now. Definitely go out and look for them if it's of interest to you. We'll also have some cancellations at the end that we'll go over really quickly too. So to get started, I will go ahead and throw it over to you, Tamara. And what kind of things in development make you happy this week?
Oh, Microsoft Teams, manage what attendees see. So attendees will only see shared content and presenters that you bring on the screen. So that is due out in April of this year. And that's going to be rolling out to the commercial environment, GCC High, and the DoD. So everybody's getting some love.
That should be a really nice one.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then domain customizations for webinar communications. So you can showcase your organization's brand in the webinar communication. So when webinar emails are sent to attendees, both the sender name and email domain will now reflect the tenant name, making it easier for attendees to recognize so they don't think it's like a phishing thing.
oh, really?
Yeah, what do
Yeah.
you got, Tom?
Well, one of the things that I saw that was kind of interesting, and I think a lot of consultants are going to love this one, and that is users can now sign into multiple work and personal accounts on Microsoft 365 web apps in the same browser.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so instead of having to open multiple incognito or in private type sessions that you can have in a different sign on entirely, you're going to be able to do it all in your same browser so you can have multiple things open and be pointing at these different areas or different sign-ons that you have. This is going out worldwide and it's set for April of this year. A couple other things that I see if you're using Microsoft Teams on an iOS or an Android device, a notification drawer for in-meeting informational messages so users can preview, collapse, and clear all notifications with one tap. I think that's great because usually if you're on a mobile device, you don't have a lot of screen real estate. So instead of having things popping up all over the screen, you're trying to figure out how to close those and not blank out other things you have. You'll be able to clear them all off in one tap in a little notification area that they have for you. So I think that'll be really good. That should be coming out this month, going out to GCC and worldwide. So that's good. I'll go
Couple
ahead and
other
turn it over
things
to
I've
you because
seen.
I've got a couple
Sure.
too.
Couple other things I've seen in development is forms integration with Microsoft bookings. So you can associate form templates to booking services to send forms for data intake from attendees prior to joining a booking appointment. And then some more love for Microsoft Forms. The number of responses allowed per form or quiz is being increased from, I think it's 50,000 right now, to 5 million.
5
5
million
million.
responses.
Yes. And the form owner will be able to export the results into a CSV file for analysis. And that's due out in March for GCC worldwide, GCC High, and the DoD. And then I think we've talked about this before, and it makes me laugh every time I read it aloud, is chat with self.
I love that one.
But I'm thinking of it as sticky notes. So you can have all that information together. So you can send yourself notes, messages, files, images, or videos, and it'll help you stay organized. That, of course, is rolling out in April. There's a lot of stuff coming out in April and March.
Yeah, very
Just
much
a
so.
ton of stuff. And this is for GCC, the worldwide, and GCC High, and DoD.
Yeah, I can
What
pretty
else do
much,
you have, Tom?
I was going to say, I can pretty much guarantee when that feature rolls out to our tenant, I will have an ongoing chat with myself, which will be the little notes of everything I need to remember to do rather than writing them on pieces of paper that get lost. So I
Mm-hmm.
am really looking forward to this. I know a lot of people do laugh at it, but I think it's a really cool feature. A couple other things in the Microsoft Teams area. One which I thought they had already talked about and they were rolling out, but apparently they changed the date on it, and that's the expanded reactions. So instead of you only getting the 5 or 6 different emoticons that you can, hearts and thumbs up and stuff like that, they're basically going to give you 800 plus Teams emojis to react however you want.
What?
And what, 800?
I thought
All
they
in a
were changing just the emojis that you can use, not the reactions.
well, they're actually going to make the emojis be part of the reaction area now.
Oh, that's
So
too much.
yeah, I can see people are going to get lost trying to find the one that they want, and by the time they finally find it, the whole moment that they wanted to react to is like poof, gone.
Yeah.
But we will see how that works. That's going to be May of this year, GCC Worldwide, GCC High DoD, and one other one which I think is a great thing with people spread out in all different locations. And that's again with Microsoft Teams, delayed delivery of chat messages. Now you've been able
Yes,
to
I
do
saw.
this. Yeah, you've been able to do this with emails and
Mm,
say, hey, I want to do this tonight, but I don't want people signing on in the middle of the night and responding to it. I'm not going to have it go out until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever the next morning. Now you're going to be able to do the same thing with Teams chats. So you can go ahead and put the chat in there at a time that's convenient to you, and then the message will arrive at its destination at the time you scheduled. I think that's going to be a great way to keep people from spending more out of work time doing
mm-hmm.
stuff that's work related. That's going to come out in July. And again, that's going to all the tenants. So GCC Worldwide, GCC High, and DoD. So look for that one. I'm definitely going to take advantage of that one, being that I get in really early. So that's a
Yes,
good
you
one.
do.
I don't have any other ones in development. Do you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and go to rolling out. I'll toss a couple out here to start with. So Microsoft Search, people-centric search in SharePoint and Office.com. So this is
I'm excited
basically,
and scared.
yeah. This is a way that when you go and search, if you're searching for a person, rather than just giving you like a one-liner, it's going to allow you to zoom in on that person to view, explore, and search the enterprise graph around them. So it will enable you to find content through people and to understand people through their content. So this is a way to say, hey, I'm looking at Tamara. Oh, Tamara's apparently been working on Project X because she's got documents, provided I have access to be able to see this content related to Project X, or Project X has people related to it. One of them is Tamara. So I think that's going to be interesting. Some people are going to get freaked out about it because it's like, I don't want people to see what I'm working on. But I think this is a good way to allow people in the company to find kind of the experts or the subject matter experts on particular topics when they can see that, hey, they seem to be part of this over here. Who else is part of that? So I think it's a cool thing, even though, again, some people are going to think it's kind of Big Brotherish, but oh
Yeah,
well.
I think it's also going to help with the unknown unknowns
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
you run
you don't know
into
what
in
you don't know.
project works.
Exactly.
So
So
I think that's
what do
going to
you
be.
see that looks good to you?
Oh, let me look. This is coming out in GCC, so this should already be out in the commercial field. And that is new lobby setting. Only invited users can join directly. So a new lobby setting is coming to Teams meeting options in GCC, where we are adding people I invite as an option as to who can bypass the lobby setting. So once enabled, only the participants invited by the organizer in the meeting invite will be able to join the meeting directly. So this will really help if your meeting invite gets forwarded and you want to make sure you know who's going to be in that
Exactly.
meeting.
Yeah,
So I think
good
that
one.
will be helpful. Also in Microsoft Forms, they're creating a new polling app for team meetings and chats. So based on learnings from early feedback, Microsoft has made the decision to make additional changes before they proceed with the rollout and have updated the rollout timeline. So thank you for your patience. Polling is one of the key capabilities in Microsoft Teams, and Microsoft Forms is focused on providing the best polling experience to our customers. Therefore, Forms will release a more discoverable app named Polls in Teams. Adding polls to your team chat and meetings via the new Polls app will be the same experience as before via the Forms app, but now it's under a new app name and team branded icon.
That actually seems to be a good decision.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people are going forms, well, am I doing a quiz? Am I doing a poll? Am I doing a form it kind of all gets muddled. Where if you're in a meeting, you're probably wanting to take polls in the meeting. This seems like a good way to segment that out and make it easier for people to get to exactly what they need to get to. So I kind of like that.
Yep.
Another search one that I'll go ahead and mention here. So history suggestions on Microsoft Search in Bing. So if you're using Bing for your enterprise searches, you're now going to be able to have your historical searches as suggestions in the auto suggest pane on Bing and a Microsoft Search in Bing. So if you have this, unusual search string that you wanted and you go and do something else, you come back, it's like, oh gosh, I can't remember what that was. Well, if you start to type something close, you're going to get drop down suggestions, which will in all likelihood have that one that you put in there. So I think it'll be a nice way to get back to the kind of information that you were looking for without having to bookmark all these various pages that show your search results. Having those suggested searches come up, I think, is a really cool thing. So I'm liking that one a lot.
Great. The last thing that I have in rolling out is Microsoft Lists in SharePoint, customizable command bar. So you can personalize a list to suit your needs by customizing the command bar, like how you can customize form headers and footers. The JSON-based feature, which makes me unhappy, will allow basic changes to the command bar, including modification of icon or text and hiding existing options or repositioning commands. I'm sad that it's JSON. I'm sad that it's not just buttons.
Yeah, it would be nice. But again, if they start with JSON and figure out are people using it, how are they using it and stuff like that, I could then see it becoming a user interface type thing that makes it a lot easier to work with instead of you having to go out and find a copy and paste JSON piece that looks exactly like what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything else except I do want to mention this one that I will never get to use, but I so want to use it at some time. And that is Walkie Talkie on iOS. I think that would just be so cool to be on Teams on my phone and go, hello, hello, and ping somebody directly. I don't need it. We've got Teams phones, we have chat, but dang, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I'm just a kid at heart. So, hey. And with that, we will now go into launch. Launched are the things that should be out in your tenant, depending on what kind of tenant you have and where it was going to. So, Tamara, do you have anything to get started with here?
I do. Tags are becoming available in the DoD environment. So that'll be great. That's launched in February. So tags will be available in the DoD, and the tag in Teams lets the users quickly reach a group of people without having to mention or type out everybody.
Yeah, tags are cool.
Yeah, yeah. And people at the DoD have been screaming for that for a while.
Cool.
So I think that's great. And also the OneDrive and SharePoint for Business Library dropdown. So Microsoft is adding a dropdown that allows you to easily switch between multiple document libraries associated with a team or a site. So I'll let you take some.
Yeah, actually, you took basically the only one I had highlighted there that I was going to talk about. Yeah.
I win.
Yeah, with launched, it's like we've discussed a lot of these before, so it's almost like rehashing stuff over again. There is one item that I do want to play with at some point once I figure out exactly how this is supposed to work, and that is on Microsoft Teams, music mode for Teams.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
two To read this out, in music mode, we support up to 32 kilohertz sampling rate mono audio at 128 kilobits and optimize our internal audio processing settings for reproducing music with high fidelity. Teams will automatically adjust the audio bit rate based on available bandwidth, going down to 48 kilobits. While still delivering good music quality, we'll also provide users the option to turn off components such as echo cancellation, noise suppression, and gain control if needed. You know what they are. To benefit from this improved fidelity, professional microphones and headphones or high quality external loudspeakers are ideal, no Bluetooth headsets. Built-in microphones and speakers on laptops, such as the Surface Book, of course, will also deliver good experience. So I'm not sure if this is something that you control as the person doing a meeting, or is this
Mhm.
possibly something to do with live meeting where they set everything up? But I just think it would be cool to be able to say, hey, I've got this meeting. I want some music playing beforehand instead of trying to put a speaker up to your microphone,
Right.
and you're hearing the clicking of stuff in the background and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this actually works. I would like to implement it for some of the sessions that I do within my company. And this is rolled out now to worldwide and GCC.
I think this would also be great if you're in a really long meeting that's several hours long to have a dance break.
There you go. I like it. Everybody dance now. Drop the beat now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So,
then all we have left is canceled.
and we do have some canceled items this time. So let's go over those real quickly. Insider risk management integration with communication compliance. This feature is postponed and will be republished as soon as the timeline is defined. Sharepoint updated tag columns for images. This roadmap is canceled as a duplicate of an existing item, so you're going to get it just under a different number. Microsoft 365 Compliance Center Core and Advanced eDiscovery new export experience. This item is delayed, probably similar to the insider risk management that we talked about earlier. Microsoft Project, guest users in project for the web. This was kind of a cool thing. This particular item is being removed as a duplicate of another one. So yes, you are getting it just under a different number. So that's awesome. And the final one we have is Microsoft 365 Admin Center, Teams user activities per user graph API. So if you're really into needing to do team stuff with the graph API, this is canceled as a result of customer feedback. We're introducing a new Teams user activity per user graph API to help you track Teams usage per user over time. So they like the idea. They're still going to give it to you, but their first attempt apparently didn't work very well. And so they're going back and they're going to rehash it and then put it out with a different thing, which will hopefully be better. So with that, that pretty much covers a lot of what we have. We didn't go into a lot of the geeky things because we didn't have Adam around this time
You
for
did
that.
not have geek representation.
Yes, and I just didn't feel like being a representative geek Adam today. So with that, though, thank you very much for joining in. We will hopefully view you in a week when we do the updates that we get for next week. So with that, everybody have a great Friday, great rest of your weekend, or whenever you watch this, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye.